What's going on, guys? This is thatRnerd coming at you with a thatRnerd After Dark video. Trying to get this out before the tournament starts. But basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to run one simulation of the tournament, and we are going to get the best prediction of all time. In fact, this might be the first perfect bracket ever. Just to show a little of the code of what we're doing here. We're taking a sample between DUIU, which is, of course, Gonzaga, going against Georgia State, where tuition is handled by some random dude that lives in Atlanta that she only sees when she feels obligated. Admitted it to me the first time we dated. All right. So those are the two options. And what we're doing is we're taking one, right, a sample size of one. We're picking one of these teams to win. And we're flipping a coin that has a 99% chance of landing on DUIU and a 1% chance of being Georgia State. I ran this a few times until I got Georgia State. So you can see if we do get Georgia State, we are completely screwed. And this whole thing will be a dumpster fire. But without further ado, let's go through and do this. Again, this is thatRnerd After Dark. And so I have some weird names. Hopefully I remember what they are. But we'll go through and we'll see them for sure. All right, so first up, we have DUIU getting the dub. All right, where I got these percentages from is from ESPN. They have a power rating. They have a bunch of different things, but I went with their power rating. So again, 99% chance Gonzaga, 1% chance of this ghastly team winning. And we're going to pick Gonzaga. So we got Gonzaga first. All right, we got Trucker U. This is obviously Boise State versus the Memphis Mayfire. And the winner here, Trucker U. All right, Boise State getting the dub. We got Husky Women, am I right? Versus No Airport U. This one was New Mexico State. Certainly they don't have an airport in their town. I don't know for sure, but certainly. It can't be a big one if it is. And the winner here is No Airport U. That's the first upset of the pick here, of the what do they call this, bracket. All right, we have Fire Extinguisher versus Maple Syrup U. Fire Extinguisher, their coach was with Nevada when they punched a fire extinguisher, so that's a callback to that. Maple Syrup U, that's obviously Vermont. Let's see who wins. The Fire Extinguisher moves on. All right, next up we have Too Many Chips in football. Okay, they win way too much. Versus New Jersey U, which is Rutgers. Do they even have a mascot? Rutgers? That's all I ever hear. It's the Rutgers. All right, we got Alabama moving on. All right, we got the old Wreck-'em Ralph Texas Tech versus the Flying Bozeman's, which I think I don't know. I didn't look any of this up, but I think that's where Montana State is, Bozeman. We got Texas Tech moving on. Michigan State, which is obviously 300. Okay, the Spartans versus the University of Steph Curry, which is Davidson. We got the Spartans moving on. This is starting to be a pretty boring bracket so far, but I think it'll get better. All right, we got Coach K's last run versus the Full House Town. Is that Fullerton? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Win. All right, moving down to the east side of the bracket, we have Perry Jones Community College, which is Baylor, and that's all, folks. I don't remember why. Fulkrum. Obviously, we have Baylor moving on. This one I picked and I couldn't get rid of it, so I'll have to switch it if it's not North Carolina here. We have the Heels with something on them versus the Golden Generic Birds. Oh, there's another upset right there. We got Marquette moving on. We have the worst coach in the NCAA, obviously St. Mary's. Obviously. That guy is a total bag of tools. Versus the Bob Knight Memorial. Bob Knight might be alive still, so I don't know why it's a memorial already, but dang. Worst coach in the NCAA. Moving on. All right, we got the California of LA versus LeJon Brames University. So that's UCLA versus Akron. Is that how you say it? And we got the California moving on. All right, we got Captain James Hook'em Horns versus the Va Texties. I'll just let that one marinate there. Leave it, Ooh, we got another upset. The Va Texties moving on. See you later, Horns. All right, we got the Fast Trains versus the Smart Dogs. Obviously, Purdue versus Yale. Quite obvious. Fast Trains moving on. We got Bill Murray, probably likes them, versus San Francisco. So that's Murray State versus San Francisco. And we got the Frisky moving on. All right, we got the calamaris, the fighting ocean food calamaris versus Spank University. I don't know, SPU. I don't know what that is. We got Kentucky. Oh, St. Peter's. All right, got Kentucky moving on. All right, let's continue this absolutely perfect bracket. Over on the south side, hot as bongos, Arizona versus the worst Bry winner, which happens tomorrow, I believe. We got the hot as bongos moving on. We got Satan Hall versus the Flying Christians, with Satan Hall moving on. We got the Rock Twist seeding. Have you seen their Ken Palm? They're like number 5, and they're a 5 seed. Bro, Rock Twist seeding versus the Snacks. Oh, that one cuts me. That one cuts me deep because I disagree firmly with that. I think Houston's going to win, but there's always surprises in the tournament, and here we are with the 12 seed upset. UAB. I'm ill, not sick versus maybe the best named team in the whole thing, Chattanooga. Please, the Chattanoogies. Let's see what happens. Ill, not sick. Moving on. Right, we got the Ramstein Colorado States versus the McNasties, with the Ramsteins moving on. We got the Tennessee versus the Long something or other. I don't know. Longwood. That's a nice name. Longwood. All right, we got Greg Oden Yu, the most famous Buckeye of all time. Don't be mad at me, Buckeye fans. I'm sure there are better. Okay, this is just what first came to mind. Versus the Lucky Buckets. This one was LUC, and I don't remember what they were. Greg Oden Yu moving on. Loyola. Isn't that a weird thing? LUC. Loyola Chicago, I guess, is why. All right, we got Villanova-Istiki versus the Delete Button, with Villanova moving on. All right, we got one more side here, Midwest. We have the Fighting Birds versus Texas Southern, with the Birds moving on. Good thing no one seed's lost. I like that. We have an old wooden ship, which is a quote of something from Anchorman. It's not the correct one, but it's the more appropriate one. So we have the old wooden ship versus some birds. Ooh, the Birds winning the ship. There we go, Creighton. All right, we have the Fighting Cornfields versus the Spiders. Obviously, that's Iowa. The Iowa Dream is what I call it. And the Fighting Cornfields moving on. All right, we have the Frying Pans. Aren't they the Friars? Isn't that what that little guy is? So we have the Frying Pans versus the Jill Rabbits. Frying Pans taking the Dubski. All right, we got the Tigres versus the Fighting Tornadoes, with the Tigres moving on. LSU. All right. We have the Mighty Jonathan Taylors versus the Toothpaste, and the Mighty Jonathan Taylors moving on. All right, we got the Trojan Men versus Dwayne The Rock Johnson's alma mater. Oh, with Dwayne The Rock moving on. And our last one, we have Crab Legs versus Tom Brady's retirement home. Crab Legs, obviously. A shout out to Cameron Newton walking out with crab legs. Okay, so there's the first round. I'm going to take some time and input these with their proper probabilities into the R code. See you in a second. All right. After what felt like too long to me, we're back now for the second round, and we will go through and push through and knock this out. I'm sure this is where the upsets will start and make me sad, but remember, upsets do happen in March Madness, and thus it is said this is the perfect bracket. Okay, so here we go. We got DYU coming out clutch, because obviously they're beating Trucker U. Okay. All right, we got No Airport U versus the Fire Extinguisher, with the Fire Extinguisher moving on. Good old Arkansas. Too many chips in football. Wreck-Em Ralph. We got the Wreck-It Ralph moving on. This bracket's chalk, man. This is boring. K's last run. Come on. Give me those. I'm not asking for for lies to happen here. Okay, I want the bracket I want there to be upsets in the actual games. All right. Obviously, this is what's going to happen. So, all right, we got the mis gatos pantalones. We got the Marquette Golden Generic Birds beating the Baylor Bears. Ooh, look. I said I didn't want to go chalk, but that one's a little spooky. All right, we got the worst coach in the NCAA, unfortunately, moving on to another round. Virginia Tech, Va Texties versus the Fast Trains. Dude, this side of the bracket's kind of crazy. We got the Calamaris coming through to save one of the top 4 seeds. Well, top bracket's chalk. The second one's not. All right, let us continue on with the perfect bracket. We got Hot as Bongos beating Satan Hall. We have... Really? The UAB Snacks moving on to the Sweet 16. This is the perfect bracket, guys. I'm telling you right now, this is the perfect bracket. Ramstein versus Tennessee. The Ramstein moving on. Good grief. This bracket is busted now. In a good way. Okay, this is actually going to happen. Again, I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. This is actually going to happen. We got Villanova moving on. Perfect bracket still acquired. We go to the bottom Midwest bracket. We have the Fighting Birds. Which one was that? Kansas. The Fighting Birds against some birds. Creighton. All right, we got the Fighting Cornfields against the Frying Pans. I pressed the wrong button there. With the Frying Pans winning. All right. We got some more chalk down here, I see. We have the mighty Jonathan Taylors moving on. And they will play against the Crab Legs of Auburn. All right, so kind of weird. 2 chalk. Top left, bottom right are complete chalk. The other 2 are complete mayhem. All right. Complete mayhem. All right, we are back with the Sweet 16. This tournament is almost over. Let's crush these out. We got DYU winning. All right, so let's go to Gonzaga. Moving on. Keep on keeping on, as it were. K's last run. They're getting a little motivation here. They're going deep. Going deep. Got the Golden Generic Birds. Oh, dude. Oh, St. Mary's. Thus it's been written. They have to make it there, but that sucks. The Fighting Calamari. Moving on. All right. So help me, if the Snacks win this, I'm throwing this bracket away. That was close. Okay. UAB, the Snacks, they could make it 2 rounds. Okay. 3 against Arizona? No. And thus, That's why this is obviously correct. We got Villanowski. I should have done something better than that because that is just a mouthful of garbage there. We got Chalk. Oh, I hate Chalk. I hate Chalk so much. And not Chalk. So that's good. So help me. If this is 1 and 2, I'm going to be pretty upset with how this tournament goes. Fighting Birds. That's the one. Versus Crab Legs. Oh my good gravy. Oh, it pains me to my soul to see a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 5-2. Okay, that pains me to my core, but that's what's going to happen. So I guess we better get used to it. All right, we're back for the Elite Eight. We got DUIU against Coach K's last run. With DUIU moving on. Chalk, boring. Okay. Look, the 5 seed, worst coach in the NCAA. I should root for them because they're, small conference. But I just can't, okay? So let's go. The delicious Calamaris. Calamari wins. All right, we got Hot as Bongos against Villanova. Rename them, make it better. We got the Hot as Bongos moving on. And finally, we have the Fighting Birds versus the Crab Legs, with the Crab Legs moving on. So as I look at this Final Four, we have a 1-2, 1-2. Not really what I want to personally see. I like seeing the Cinderella come in, but this is what's going to happen. So is what it is. All right, Final Four time, baby. Let's go. We got the DUIUs versus the Fighting Calamaris, with DUIU moving on. And they will play against the Crab Legs of Auburn. Ay caramba. All right, well, there it is. Championship game. Let's pick that. I don't even need to pause it. We're only putting one in here. Whoa. It's a little dark in here. I can't see where. It's pretty high probability, but you never know. All right, here we go. And the winner is oh, the Crab Legs, bro. Oh, the Crab Legs. All right, there it is. Tiebreaker. It's obviously going to be 69 to 67. This is quite obvious. Of course, dude. This is perfection in a bracket. Yeah, I'm not filling that out. Okay. All right, so one last look at the bracket, some notable upsets that we see. We have New Mexico State moving on, the classic 5-12 upset. Let's see, in the bottom bracket, we have Virginia Tech, an 11 beating a 6. That's kind of a surprise. And a 10 beating a 7. That's not really surprising, but there you go. Virginia Tech moving 2 rounds. That is crazy. As well as Marquette going on 2 rounds, beating Baylor. Kind of a surprise. All right, we got 10 seed Miami, not a big upset. 9 seed Creighton, again, not a big upset. Anything else? No, that was chalk. That was chalk side. Ooh, this one was a big one. The Snecks of UAB moving on 2 rounds to the Sweet 16. Colorado State moving on 2 rounds to the Sweet 16. Bit of an upset there. And yeah, there it is. Perfect bracket. You'll be seeing this video all over ESPN when they're like, "Oh, this is the perfect bracket. We must know how this was created." Well, you know how. It's the perfect the perfect simulation. All right, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want more of the best. stat, data, R content there is on the platform, and you have a good day. All right. If you made it this far, you are just a massive, massive legend. Thanks for staying with thatRnerd after dark. Bye bye.